After communion, I want to read you a letter from Bishop Brandt, which was asked to be read in all the parishes of the diocese. We were going through another round of constriction of parishes and realignments, closings and mergings and partnering of churches. Doesn't affect us directly here, but you need to know what's happening in the diocese because the 4 counties are all intertwined as one local church. So all you early birds, you know who you are. Defer your brunch or your breakfast till I read the letter. Okay, today, you just heard the gospel. Jesus is in the process of leaving and says, I'm going, but I'm not going to abandon you. And I think we can take that. While all of the leave-taking that we have with our loved ones all the time, we come and we go. Because we leave doesn't mean we stop loving each other. That love is expressed in a different way. When we're not present to each other, think of long distance. Aren't you glad for your iPads now and Skype? And all the ways you can connect and visit, how technology has allowed us to be present to each other across the world now? Some of that's pretty nice. Some of it, not all of it. But that's one example that we are away, but we are connected. We need to apply this to the gospel as well. Jesus leaves, but he says, I'm not going away. I will be with you in the way that we really are present to each other, not right in front of your nose, but interiorly. And the most important relationships of our life, the relationships of our love, do not automatically demand that we be present all the time. We carry the trust and the care and the love with us wherever we go that holds us together. Jesus says, I am leaving my spirit. I will send, literally, I will send my spirit to you. And that link, that spirit in you will remind you of what I said, because we forget, will give you courage and strength in a world that will sap it from you all the time. I am not going to leave you in need like that. I will always be there. And that is the promise. We access that love. Let me say it again to you in this window. We access the blood and water that flowing from the side of Christ. That's the total giving of himself in the sacraments of our tradition and in the word and in the tradition of 2,000 years. That's how that spirit comes to live in us as we gather to worship and to pray and to be filled with the wisdom from that table and the food from this table every week. And Jesus says, my gift to you is peace. Now, I'm usually distracted at the sign of peace at Mass, giving it up here, and so I don't watch you. I really would like to stop and watch how you give the sign of peace. I've seen different variations over the years. Peace be with you. Peace. Peace. I told you the story many years ago when I was on vacation and I sat in the back row. I always like to do that on vacation, see what it's really like. And the sign of peace came, and it was the worst experience of my life. This woman was behind me, and it was everything in her to look at me and to give me her wet fish of a hand. I don't know if she's living or deceased, but wherever she is, she'll never know how many homilies she's made. I've never gotten over it. What's the big deal about looking at the person in front of you and wishing them well, as opposed to ignoring them or being disturbed that they would enter your space? That's not just about in church, by the way. That's the way we live. Don't get too close. Keep everything out there, and you know, that kind of stuff. Now, the gift of peace, And by the way, one of the songs that we bellow in church is which one? Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with you, with me. I'm not real fond of that song, and most of the songs that I'm not too fond of, you sing very well. And you know the other ones, which I won't get into today. Peace from the Wikipedia, the ultimate authority today. Peace is a state of harmony characterized by the lack of violence, conflict behaviors, and freedom from fear of violence. And think of the way we are so intimidated today by violence. One of the reasons we don't want to get close to people is the fear of being hurt. Big time. Commonly understood as the absence of hostility. Peace also suggests, and this is more getting into it, the existence of healthy or newly healed interpersonal or international relationships, prosperity in matters of social and economic welfare, the establishment of equality, and a working political order that serves the true interests of all. And God knows that's not here yet. And from the Latin, pax, P-A-X, not P-O-X, P-A-X, freedom from civil disorder. It's on the outside, but then when we get into the Jewish notion of shalom or salam, it gets into justice. There is no peace where there is not a just relationship among people, where there's an imbalance. Good health, safety, well-being, prosperity, equity, security, good fortune, and friendliness. Fundamentally, what Jesus has offered us, by the way, is what we're all looking for. Do you not want to be healthy? Do you not want to have a sense of rightness and purpose in your life? Who are the people that you don't want that for, and why? And why would you eat your own liver so that they could have a miserable life? What's the win? What's the prize? Because what is given to us as gift is to pass through us as gift. We are called to receive the gift of peace, well-being. Spiritually, peace is what health is to the body. What's going on when we're healthy? There's not an illness or a disease that's overtaking an organ or the body. Everything is in some way. It's working together. So is peace spiritually. It's when interiorly I can go to bed, and while I have a lot of concerns, I can trust that someone greater than I will handle what I can't. But we don't always know where to draw that line. It is an act of faith. But the act of surrender to God is actually life-giving, because trying to play God, we're always going to screw up and fall short. There's no way that you and I can handle everything that's on our plate and the plate of everybody else that we love and care about. Somebody can. And either you believe that or you don't. Now, I think we believe it, but we got to believe it better. There's always this present progressive. We have to grow in this virtue of being peaceful people. That means not being bigots and having destructive and negative opinions about people and causes and nations and all of the bigotries that divide the human family, not just locally but internationally and nationally. That somehow if we can be in conflict with each other, and that's more important than what we have in common. How can we live forever with that kind of an attitude? I really need to be polarized. I don't want to be together with. Tell me, what is the prize? Now, people go to their graves with this kind of nonsense. I will not speak to you ever again. I will not apologize for what I did wrong, to do an injustice or hurt to you. I will not. I will not. I will not. Well, you get what you deserve. You want that? You know what you get? Nothing. And more misery. That's a matter of the ego. We get very, very hard at the ego level. And we get resistant and retaliatory. When the balm of the gospel really, as we receive it, opens us, softens us up, and lets us put down our fists and our guns and all of our weapons, some of them are in our mouth, of retaliation, and help us to speak and do the words that build the bridges of life. Jesus is the ultimate build bridger from God to us. People who carry his name are to be peacemakers like that. Blessed are the peacemakers who are dedicated to helping and building the bridges. I saw this, one of those videos that you can look at on the internet. They're TED, they're educational videos. And there's one this week about, and I have to go back and look at it again, of a woman who taught for 40 years. And she's talking about how children really need to be cared for individually and believed in. And she quotes one of her colleagues as a teacher who said, "We're not paid to really go out of our way with these children. We're not paid to care about them. We're paid to teach them." Well, hello. Good luck. Who would want to learn from somebody who didn't care about them? Blessed are the peacemakers. And what would be in the attitude of a person? I don't know who this is. I assume they're not from Lower Burl. I hope not. They're from somewhere else. All those other crazy people all live somewhere else. But what is it? What would go on in the mind of a person who would say that? I'm not paid to do more than what I'm supposed to do for you. My job is 1 hour a week. That's all you get. If I ever hear that one more time. That was a joke. Father only works 1 hour a week. Yeah, like you do. Well, you see, let us reflect on the peace that we are called to give and to offer day by day. Not because we don't have it, but because as we exit these doors today, we have received it one more time. Now, what are you going to do with it? How does it make a difference for us? Do we really believe that God wishes us well? The Italians say, "Ti voglio bene." I want what is good. I wish you well. They don't say, well, maybe they do, but they don't say it out loud. "Ti voglio male." I hope there's a curse on you. I wish you well. Is that going to be on our tombstone? I wished she wished everybody and acted and lived in such a way that that wasn't just words, but it was a way of life. And it came from the grace of Jesus Christ himself.